Rome, 101 BC. The Cestius Bridge over the Tiber River. A man kneels naked on cold stone. He has murdered his own mother, and Rome has prepared a punishment designed to erase him from nature itself.
Beside him lies a leather sack, but it is not empty. Inside twist a dog, a rooster, a monkey, and a venomous snake, all alive, all trapped together. The condemned man is beaten until his back becomes a canvas of torn flesh. Then he is forced into the sack. It is sewn shut while he screams.
The animals panic. Claws tear, fangs strike. The sack is dragged to the edge of the bridge and thrown into the river below.
Romans called this punishment poena culei, the punishment of the sack. Reserved almost exclusively for those who murdered parents, it symbolized total rejection from life itself. Cicero explained the philosophy clearly. The condemned would be denied sky, sun, water, and earth, cut off from everything that gives life. Each animal carried symbolic meaning. The dog represented shamelessness, the rooster, arrogance, the monkey, malice, the snake, hatred toward one's own blood.
Rome did not invent torture randomly. Every punishment carried a message. Death alone was not enough. It had to be unforgettable.
The philosopher Seneca witnessed executions and wrote that they made people more cruel, proof that punishment was meant as public theater. In the center of Rome stood the Tarpeian Rock, a steep cliff overlooking the Roman Forum. This was where traitors were executed. Traitors were dragged to the edge while crowds gathered below. Then, without ceremony, they were thrown off, their bodies shattered where all of Rome could see. The punishment sent a clear message: betray Rome, and Rome erases you publicly. For slaves, rebels, and enemies of the state, Rome used something slower: crucifixion. Roman citizens were legally exempt. This was punishment reserved for those considered beneath dignity.
Victims were scourged first. Whips embedded with metal tore through skin until their backs were almost unrecognizable.
They carried heavy crossbeams through streets while crowds mocked them. Then nails were driven through wrists and feet. Death came slowly sometimes, over days, as victims struggled for every breath beneath the burning sun. After Spartacus's rebellion, thousands were crucified along the Appian Way, creating a road lined with death for miles.
Rome punished failing soldiers differently. If a legion showed cowardice, 1 out of every 10 men was randomly chosen to die, killed by his own comrades.
Friends beat friends to death with clubs and stones, while the rest watched in silence. The survivors carried the memory forever and fought harder out of fear. If a Roman soldier abandoned his post, lost his weapon, or showed individual cowardice in battle, he faced fustuaria, the punishment of the clubs. This was not random like decimation. This was personal. The condemned soldier was brought before the entire legion. The tribune touched him lightly with a staff, a silent signal that sealed his fate. Then every soldier attacked him with clubs and stones. Not executioners, not strangers, his own brothers in arms. Even if he survived the beating and escaped, he was forbidden from returning home. No family could legally shelter him. He was erased from society. For slaves, prisoners of war, and the worst criminals, Rome reserved a punishment that turned death into entertainment. Damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. Hidden beneath the arena floor was the hypogeum, a network of cages and elevators. Animals and prisoners were raised through trap doors to surprise the crowd.
Executions were staged like theater. A condemned man might be dressed as a mythological hero, only to be torn apart moments later. Lions were starved for days. Bears were burned with hot irons to enrage them. The crowd cheered as bodies were ripped apart.
Vendors sold wine and food while people placed bets on how long the victim would survive. Some crimes were believed to pollute Rome spiritually. For these, fire was used as purification. Victims were burned alive in public view.
Under Emperor Nero, executions became grotesque performances. Prisoners were coated in pitch and wax so they would burn slowly and brightly.
These human flames lit imperial gardens while the emperor entertained guests.
For spectacular destruction, Rome sometimes used trained elephants, massive animals capable of crushing bones slowly under command.
The condemned were forced to face the beast before being crushed limb by limb for maximum spectacle.
Sometimes the crowd demanded mercy, but usually spectacle mattered more than compassion. For some, death was not enough. Rome developed something more terrifying, damnatio memoriae, the condemnation of memory. Statues were destroyed. Names were scratched from inscriptions. Coins were melted. It was as if the person had never existed. To Romans, being forgotten was worse than dying. Oblivion was the ultimate punishment. Now return to where we began, the sack sinking into the dark waters of the Tiber River. A man trapped with beasts, denied earth, denied sky.
The Romans believed punishment must reflect the crime. Kill your parent, lose your place in nature itself. Physical pain was only one weapon Rome used. Psychological fear was even more powerful. Sometimes prisoners were kept in darkness for weeks before execution, listening to others scream.
They were denied sleep. Guards whispered false execution dates to break their minds. Every sound in the corridor felt like death approaching.
By the time execution came, some prisoners were already mentally destroyed. Rome understood something terrifying. Fear travels faster than death. Before many executions, criminals were paraded through the streets, stripped, beaten, mocked. Children threw stones. Crowds shouted insults.
The purpose was simple: break dignity before breaking the body. In Rome, honor mattered more than life. Even the elite were not safe. Generals who failed could be forced to take their own lives quietly, preserving Rome's image while erasing failure. Rome ruled millions across continents. To control such an empire, fear became a tool of governance. Punishments were not just justice. They were warnings carved into memory. Every execution was a message. Rome is stronger than you. And so we return once more to the river. The sack sinks deeper. The sounds inside grow faint. Above, the city of Rome continues as if nothing happened. To the Romans, punishment was not cruelty. It was order, brutal, unforgiving, absolute.